So, all right, folks, I am here with the man himself, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. This is Pongo Joe. How you doing today, man?
Doing really well today. How are you?
Doing good, dude. I'm really glad you could be here. Thank you so much, for letting me talk your ear off a little bit today. You know what I mean? We're gonna have a good time. There we
Definitely.
go. So let's get right into it, man. How long have you been scare acting?
Okay, so I have been scare acting going on 9 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
Started out, yeah, I started out in 2010.
There we go. And how did it all started off? Like you just like volunteered at a haunt one year, and you just kind of got your attention. You wanted to keep doing it, or was it something that you've always wanted to do, man?
Well, I actually started out at a pretty big haunt. I'd been my hometown is Huntsville, Alabama, and I'd been driving past this place a couple times. I had noticed they'd been working on it, and it just had a billboard just saying haunted house on it. I didn't
Hmm.
name or anything, and I guess auditions probably had already started. But eventually, I was like, I'm into plays, I'm into theater and stuff like that. And I'd been doing a lot of that in high school, so I just drove down and I walked up to the first person I saw, and I was like, "Hey, can I work here?"
Oh,
I didn't know it at the time, but the boss, he just kind of stared at me for a minute, and he's like, "All right, come on, let's
yeah.
see what you got." But my very first haunt was Disturbia Haunted House in Huntsville, Alabama. He had basically taken like an old shopping center and turned the inside into a haunt with
Oh, wow.
everything, and that's where I'd gotten my start. Um, I wasn't sure if it was going to be for me or not, but I think the first time they threw me into a scene in one of the mazes there, and I got that scare for the first time, I was like, "All right, I think this is for me."
There we go. There we go. That's what a lot of scare actors say. It's like once you first that first good scare you get, it's kind of like a drug almost, where you want to keep on getting more and more of them. And I watched a lot of your videos on Instagram, man. You really know how to terrify some people, especially with that like really like loud, almost high pitched kind of laugh you do.
Oh yeah.
It's like really like iconic type of thing, man. So like your character, how did you come up with your character Pongo?
Okay, so Pongo happened when I first started haunting.
Yeah.
I had an aversion, to doing the clowns. I was like, "Oh, clowns is overrated." I never want to do a clown. So for my first couple years, I had just done like traditional, dead characters or
Okay.
zombies, or I was never part of doing, the clown stuff. But somewhere around, I think 2015, yeah, I was at this haunted house called Warehouse 31, and they had me, doing some different stuff. They had me doing some different kind of auditions, and I always used to do the Joker cosplay. And
Hmm.
my actor coordinator at the time, he was like, "Joseph, why don't you try to be a clown? You have this great laugh. You already do the Joker cosplay. Why don't you just give it a try?"
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I said I'd stay away from it, but um, I ended up coming around, and I went through a few different, costumes and makeup stuff. Um, our makeup artist at a time, like they said, well, take some inspiration. We can make you whatever you want, but if you want to design, something, go ahead and design and draw it out. We have they gave us these very awesome face makeup templates.
Okay.
Um, so I drew a design out, and it ended up looking a lot like King Diamond uh,
Oh.
first. And I did that for a year, and he didn't have a name. I was just a clown. I was just, this is what I'm doing. It wasn't exactly fleshed out, and probably until 2016 did I finally come up with, I guess you would say, the definitive version of Pongo. Um,
Hmm.
I'd been playing around with some makeup, and I'd been starting to do a lot of my own makeup. I'd come up with a design that I've always been very inspired by black metal, death metal. Like I previously mentioned, King Diamond. I wanted to do a clown, but I wanted it to look really dark. I wanted to have style with it. Um, so I ended up coming up with the first design, with a really big smile and the upside down crosses and the stitching and stuff. And I'd come up with the eyes. I knew, and it changed over time. It didn't from the first iteration to the final, what Pongo is today. The makeup has changed around as well as the costume. But
Okay.
as far as the name goes, um, I was throwing a bunch of spots and doing a lot of brush flicks, and so he became very spotty, very kind of like cookies and cream in a way. Um,
Yeah.
that became like a defining characteristic. And I can't remember who, but somebody's like, you look like that dog, Pongo, from 101 Dalmatians.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and that's where it stuck, really. And
There we go.
and when I made my Instagram name, I wanted a piece of me in there. I wanted my name. I wanted Joe. So it just became Pongo underscore Joe, or not, or yeah, the little underline, whatever. Um, and that's kind of how it came about. It had a kind of a nice ring to
Yeah, it does. It sticks around. I'm pretty sure people who see you at haunts will forever remember that as the person who scared the crap out of them and
I.
everything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as getting into character and stuff like that, what's like some of the techniques that you do and everything like that? Because as I'm talking to you right now, you seem pretty relaxed and everything like that. You don't seem like someone who's going to be like up in your face, sliding around and everything like that. What do you do to get into character, man?
Well, I definitely go through a process. When I went to, I actually have a theater degree from UAB down in Birmingham, Alabama, and we go through a series of like vocal exercises, going through the scales, really, getting the laugh right, because laughing, has a lot of musicality to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, whether you're going or or it's just something. These exercises, you keep doing them repeatedly. And that's a great way to get in character. And
Okay.
of course, just as a slider, doing your stretches, because if you don't do your stretches, you're gonna be screwed the next day. So it's almost become kind of like a ritual, this whole like 30-minute process of doing these exercises, stretching, putting the costume on. Really,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like a light switch. And sometimes, even though I've been doing it now for many years, it's that first night, walking out into the streets and seeing people. Sometimes it just comes to you in an instant. I know exactly what I need to do, and just even going down to that first slide, it's just the character's there. Um, so that's kind of the process, as well as getting into the makeup, seeing the teeth and the eyes. It's all very helpful of just getting into that mindset of scaring people.
Okay, that's good. That's a really good thing right there, especially with stretching. I've been hearing that a lot too. Stretching is really key, whether you're a slider or someone who's like really active inside the maze and stuff like that. Do
Oh
you
yeah,
prefer being out in the street, not in the street, like out, like, with the crowd, or do you prefer to be inside of the maze?
I definitely prefer being outside. Um,
Hmm.
you can have a much longer interaction, with guests. Um, it's certainly something that I pride myself in, is doing interaction. I always try to scare them first. Do a big like loud bang slide, good laugh, and then come in with the character moments. And if I find somebody is who's just really terrified of me, I can really start pressing their buttons and stuff like that, and it's just it's just great. And some of these people, some of these guests that come to the haunt, they might buy like a season pass, or they're coming to, they'll hang out. So, you have an audience watching you as you're scaring
Hmm.
guests or people who know you or know your character. So it's like a big play, being outside, and it always changes. How I scare this person is going to be different from how I scare this person. Or, I might not scare this person at all. I might just make them laugh. You
Yeah.
know, so the outside interaction is, I mean, it's like night and day. I definitely prefer it to being in the maze.
There we go. There we go. So when it comes to your sliding techniques, because a lot of your videos, and I think one of the stories you posted up today, you did like this like little cool like 180 spin and everything like that. Yeah, it was really nice. Are you constantly always practicing your sliding, even during the off season, or do you wait till like when it gets like a little closer to Halloween time, or how do you treat that?
I do slide, just for fun sometimes.
Mhm.
Um, I get a lot of messages and people also locally who ask me, hey, I'm thinking about getting into sliding, and I always take that as a great opportunity. Like, all right, well, let's go do it. I got some extra pads and some boots in the car, and I got an old pair of gloves. Let's learn some stuff together.
There we
Um,
go.
but definitely the months of like September, August and September, I definitely kick it into high gear, and
Hmm.
I start sliding a lot more and really practicing, just to kind of, I guess, shake off the icicles that have been growing on me throughout the. Um, but yeah, I definitely try to be in tip top shape before the season starts.
That's good. That's good. No, and you can tell your talent's really known, all that good stuff. A lot of people are really digging it. So much, in fact, that I've actually seen, especially on your page too, people have gotten tattoos of you, of like your character and stuff like that. What was your first reaction when someone's all like, "Ayo, I like you. Here's your face on my body." Like,
Like, oh my
right?
god, yeah, the first time that had happened, the tattoo artist messaged me, and he was like, "Hey, is it okay if I post this?" And he just sent a picture, and I'm like, "So you already did it? It's already there. I want to know who this guy is." And he's like, "Yeah, this guy came in with one of your Instagram pictures, and he said he wanted it on his arm." And I'm
There
like,
we go.
"Okay." I'm flattered, maybe a little bit creeped out. I must have stared at it, for like 10, 15 minutes. I was like, all right, yeah, post it.
Yeah,
See how it
that's
goes.
that's pretty cool. Have you noticed like a lot more other people been doing the same? You thinking about creating like one of your like your own little like things to put on a tattoo wall, different
Like
poses of
flash.
Pongo? Yeah, the flash. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it. There are folks who have like drawn me before, and some magnificent art. I'd love to see it as Flash.
Hmm.
The second time somebody did it, I was just tagged in the picture, and it's on some dude's back, which he didn't bother asking me. He didn't bother saying a thing. He's like, "Hey, I just did this thing. I thought you should know." But
That's got to be weird. Has anyone come up to your haunts and be like, "Hey, oh man, you're on my body," or like you're on my skin now? Like
no,
anyone's ever showed you anything in person?
I have not met any of the two. Like I'd love to run into them one day,
Oh
but I
yeah.
haven't met anybody. And of course, there have been folks have told me like, hey, I'm thinking about getting a tattoo or something of you. And I'm like, all right, go on ahead and uh, if you're close to the haunt or wherever I'm gonna be, come come show me. I'd love to see it.
There we go. Would you ever get like something tattooed on you, like your favorite person, like King Diamond, for example, or you mentioned black metal? Would you ever get like someone from the group of Mayhem or anything like that?
Yes, I've definitely thought about it. Instagram's such a great place to find different tattoo artists and people that you like. Um,
Hmm.
Definitely a fan of the black and gray tattoos.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
So it's I haven't quite decided. I'm I know for sure that I'm a big video game person. Um, so I play a lot of the Dark Souls and the Bloodborne video games.
Okay, okay.
I've always wanted a tattoo from like one of those games, like a piece of the lore, or maybe like one of the symbols or something on my arm or whatever. But
Hmm.
I haven't quite found an artist yet. And of course, tattoos take a good chunk of money, especially the good ones.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, definitely something to consider for the future.
There we go. There we go. All right. So that's enough of the haunt of the I'm not the haunt the tattoo talk. Let's get back into the haunt stuff. My bad. I get sidetracked a little bit like that. So as we discussed earlier, from my mistake, I thought you only worked for Netherworld that was in Atlanta, Georgia. But no, you actually say that you're like a free agent type of thing. You go wherever you please this year. And from what I learned earlier, is you also haunt at Long Beach Queen Mary in 2017.
Yeah, in 2017, me and my fiance Morgan, we saw Queen Mary's like 2015. We saw a lot of the footage of the haunt itself. I saw walkthroughs, and we made the decision like, hey, let's go out and let's work for this place. It looks awesome because we had already been doing haunting for a couple years, and we went out there and it was a great experience. I love Queen Mary's Dark Harbor. Um, I have a big soft spot for the historical haunts, where they take something, like Queen Mary's or even down here in Birmingham, Law Sprite Furnace, which is an old blast furnace. It
Mm-hmm.
supposedly, actually haunted, and I think that's an awesome thing to do house. And yeah, like I said, Queen Mary's was a wonderful experience. We were sliders there. Of course, they always have the slider shows. We learned a lot from those folks too. The QM sliders, they're a great bunch of sliders,
Yeah, really
and
talented. Did they let you do your character Pongo, or did you have to like go with one of their characters, stuff like that?
they let me do Pongo.
Okay,
It was great. They even let me do my own makeup. So I did my makeup every night.
yeah, that's good. So like basically they just told we just want you to do you and just come and join the team. That's awesome right there.
Yeah, it was
Now
great.
at the
We
Queen Mary.
we were running around scared people. It was a blast. They loved what we did.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I wish I would have seen you there. You know what I mean? Being at the Queen Mary, and especially work at the place over in Alabama that you mentioned, um, that are both historic and everything like that. Have you ever noticed like a haunting presence there, like, walking around the Queen Mary? Do you ever feel like something was there?
Yes, yes. There was a lot of folks who worked there who told us about the kind of creepy goings on and things. Um,
Hmm.
I think walking through like the B340 phase itself, and just kind of going to the bowels of the ship, hearing all the strange noises and it being so cold,
Oh
uh,
yeah,
just feeling almost kind of helpless going in there. Regardless of the actors and the decorations and stuff, it just
mhm.
felt kind of like it just felt kind of sinister. The presence.
Yeah. It's a weird feeling. I did a tour like during not during the haunt season, just like a normal historic tour, and we actually went inside the room before they renovated it and made it now available to stay in. It looked all like tore up, you know what I mean? Like wallpapers were down. There was like one messed up bed there. I think they just left it there for like dramatic effect, I guess. But just being in that one room, it was colder than the rest of the ship, and it was just you just feel like you're kind of like trapped in there and stuff like that. Like even though the door is wide open, you still feel like you're like in a whole different dimension, I guess you would say. It's a
Yeah,
really weird feeling and stuff like that. Mhm.
uh, like I said before, I'm a big gamer, and so it felt a lot like Bioshock.
Oh
Uh,
God,
it's super creepy.
that game is so terrifying. I think it's because of the music too, like that really old timey
Oh yeah,
like record music. Oh, dude, I can't listen to a record anymore. Like that little like that noise when the record's done and stuff
yeah.
like that. I'll think of Bioshock because of that and stuff like that. Because they'll like that noise will come up, and that's crazy right there, man. Um, well, what about the place over in Alabama? What was is that known to being haunted or something like that, or is it just like an
Yeah,
old?
the Boss Furnace, which has always been like this great historical place. Um, when you go in there's a few different places you can find some activity.
Mhm,
Like basically in the blast furnace area, or there's this big long tunnel. But the blast furnace area was basically where I think the old boss who had worked there back in the day. There was children working there in very small spaces,
mhm.
and a lot of workers had just died there due to the just
Oh man.
working conditions. And there's also the story that the boss guy was pushing people into the vats of like molten lead.
Oh
Now,
my God.
going through there, again, like the Queen Mary, old. Um, it always kind of feels like there's somebody, even when you're alone, it kind of feels like somebody's in there. And there have
Mhm,
been several times where I've looked and just looking for like other people who are tourists who are walking around. I kept feeling like I was hearing footsteps, and
mhm.
again, there's nobody there. So it has the presence like there are people there, but it's just got that creepy vibe to it.
I bet that's really creepy right there, man. Especially some actual like the boss man, I guess you would call him, like you said, pushing his employees and other stuff like over the ledges and stuff like that. That's insane. I wonder why someone would lead to do that and stuff like that. But anyways, so when it comes to haunting, for any scare actor, there's always good moments and bad moments. Good moments as like, you get that really good scare, or you made someone's night, you made them laugh, and then the bad moments were like people actually getting pretty physical. Would you mind sharing some experience of both of those encounters?
Yes, yes, definitely. So bad side first.
Yeah.
And this is another reason I have a hard time like in the mazes per se.
Mm,
I've been a slider in a maze like going like maybe 2 years, and I'd have this giant hallway that I'd slide down and I'd scare the guests. But I got into the habit of when I'd slide, I'd always put my hands up.
mhm.
And I understand some people are reactionary. They just hit because they're startled. Um,
Yeah.
but I've been kicked before, and this one particular time, um, he had gotten me like right across the face, and it just knocked my lights out almost. I was on my back,
Oh no.
and he started talking shit to me and everything, and of course, I'm trying to just get out of the situation because that's the best thing you do. If you start talking back, you're gonna get into a crappy confrontation. Um, of course, I made sure one of my scene leaders knew about it, so the security dude could come over and just kick him out. And
Mhm.
some people, they get it in their head that you're not a human being, you're not an actor. They just they're here to look tough and try to impress their friends. And sometimes they get violent, and it sucks, but it's definitely part of the job.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one reason why we don't have any haunts in the hood. You know what I mean? That's like majority of the customers right there, dude. So what about the good times though, man?
Good times, man. I got it in recent memory. I just came back from the Trans World haunted house convention in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Uh, this was a great opportunity. I wasn't expecting to be haunting at all. I was just kind of expecting to just hang out, look at all the cool stuff, look at the costumes, the masks. But they're having a haunted house tour,
Mhm.
and they were touring St. Louis's The Darkness, which is one of the top-rated haunts in the country. And a guy I knew who had helped out with a haunt in Georgia, I'd been talking to him, and he said, "Man, you should come. You should come scare tonight." And basically, all these people who are attending the convention, they've paid, a premium fee to have a special tour at this haunted house, particularly. So it's haunted house people, it's haunt owners, painters, it's makeup artists, it's a bunch of people in the industry. So I was like, all right, I'd love to scare at this place. Um, and I guess I'd been doing my thing, scaring in the queue line, and this one of the guys who's doing, I guess, security there, he comes over and he taps me and like, come over here. This lady is super afraid of you. She doesn't like clowns. And I love these. I love these scares because they try to be so inconspicuous.
Hmm.
They try to like hide behind their friends or they're hanging out on the sidelines. And if that guy hadn't have told me she was there, I probably would have missed her. She
Hmm.
was hiding out near some barricades or whatever, kind of on the side, not part of being in the attraction at all. And so she had her back turned to me, and I knew the moment walking up to her that she just wasn't going to take it very well. She didn't want to look at me at all. And so I'm just kind of messing with her. I didn't have to do much. I didn't have to, be loud or be very crazy. But I started playing some mind games with her. She's just kind of holding on to herself, and I'm telling you, if you look at me, it won't be as bad. That's the worst mistake every guest makes when they're afraid of you is they don't look at you, or they
Yeah.
see like 2 seconds worth of you, and then their mind just makes up this horrible image of what they think you look like.
Yeah.
And they got like the last somebody was recording it, and I posted it on my Instagram. They got like the last chunk of it, and it was honestly one of the best scares I've gotten. I've had scares like that before, but in recent memory, I'm just tormenting this poor lady, and I finally get her to look at me, and of course, when they look at me, that's when I break into my laughter and run off. And
Okay, I think I've seen that one. Yeah. It's like it looks like you guys are outside and stuff like that, right? Or
yeah, we were.
yeah, that one right there. I was watching that one this morning, and I was like, yo, that's some crazy stuff. And the laugh, of course, the laugh is amazing.
Thank you.
Uh, I'm surprised no one's got a ringtone for that already. You know what I mean? Or not that I've heard of. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
But yeah, but yo, Pongo Joe, I just want to say thank you so much for talking with me. That's all the questions I got for you today, man. Thank you so much again. And I'm sorry I messed up your home location. I thought you were in Atlanta. My fault. You're actually living in Alabama, right?
I'm in Birmingham. It's hard, People just see pictures like, oh, I'm here, oh, I'm there. Where the hell does this guy live? You know.
Yeah, it's a mysterious. That's more to the mystery. You know what I mean? But thank you so much, man. Hopefully to see you at a haunt one day. I'm planning on going down wherever to like travel across like East Coast, South Side, and everything like that. You know, all those other haunts. So
Yeah.
hopefully I could run into you again, man. Do you want to like anything you want to promote right now?
Uh, I tell you the truth, right now I'm kind of just having a bit of a break. Not really anything going on in April and May, but in June I will be at the Midwest Haunters Convention in Chicago.
Okay.
Um, gonna be scaring at Massacre Haunted House on their haunted house tour.
There
Um,
we go.
they're an awesome haunted house. I've scared with them before. So that's something exciting to look forward. But for the next 2 months, I'm just chilling out now.
That's good. Good thing to do. You got to rest up and be all nice, fully energized for the haunt season, man. Thank you, man, and have a good one. Okay.
All right, man. Thank you.